So, no good. All right, guys, we're going to get this started. This is going to be pretty different. I'm going to go through the rigmarole really quick, and then I'll kind of explain what... If you don't know, if you didn't watch my newest update video, I'm doing all my convention reviews podcasts streamed now. That's how I'm going to make them, and then they'll be posted later for anybody who misses the stream. So that's what this is. If you're not into the podcast, then this might not be for you, but there will be some back and forth between us. So we'll get into that later. I'm going to answer your questions from on here when we get to the question blog. But let's just do the rigmarole and tell you guys what's going on. Welcome to episode 5 of the Convention Reviews podcast. This is the official podcast for the Convention Reviews YouTube channel, whether it's just me, which as you can see, it is, or I'm with a guest. This is where I talk about... Oh, thank you for subscribing. I'm going to have to get used to that happening while I'm doing a podcast. Anyway, where was I? This is where I talk about all things happening and coming up in the cosplay and convention world, as well as reading convention story times from you, the listener, and now viewer. And ending it out by answering all your questions. It streams live on the Convention Reviews YouTube every Sunday at 6 p.m. You'll notice today is not Sunday. Today is Monday. I didn't do it yesterday because of the sport ball event that was happening. I didn't want to... I was afraid I would lose. Oh my gosh, the subs are rolling in now. What's up, guys? Thank you very much. And then it'll go live. It's every 6 p.m. We're a little early today. 6 p.m. on Sundays, not normally Monday. Eastern Standard Time, so you got to figure out what that is. On the YouTube and the Convention Reviews SoundCloud, it goes on there every Monday. So normally it would be going live right now. Tomorrow this will go live for everybody else. And it's coming soon to iTunes. We'll talk about that later. We are sponsored by the ACR Dealers Room, which is just my own merch shop. Shameless promotion. You can find that at shop.spreadshirt.com/convention-reviews. Thanks again for the sub. Another one. Okay. So you'll notice that when I do these, I read from here. So normally you don't see me, but you're going to see it. I'm going to try to keep up with the chat. It's going to be hard to podcast and chat at the same time. What's up, guys? I see more of you guys still coming in. All right. If you're watching this stream, then you'll notice that we do have a fundraiser going to get a new laptop. I just wanted to mention it because mine is literally going to die. I would normally just buy another one, but I've saved all my money for this Philippines trip. So, I mean, if you want to donate for it, there's a link. Use the link in the description to go to the fundraiser thing. If you just use fan funding, it won't, it doesn't add it into this for some reason. I don't know why. So that's if you want to give anything. And you can leave a little message with your tip and everything. You don't have to, obviously. I don't expect anybody to, but it's there if you want to. And this is the first time the podcast will be streamed, so hopefully it goes well. And I will try to read the chat when I can, but if you want to make sure that your message gets read, like if you're worried it's not going to get through, I'm not going to read it, at the end, if there's any tips or anything like that, I am going to read every message from all the tips. I can bring them all up at once and read them out loud for everybody to hear, and I'll read it no matter what you say, unless it's something like extremely racist. I'm not going to read that, or something like that, you know what I mean? I mean, I appreciate you helping me out, but we can't be doing that. Okay, yes, you did make it, Selza. Welcome. All right. This is a topical show. Topic number 1. News. And I have written down in parentheses, if I care. I don't care. There's no news I wanted to talk about this week. But luckily I have the chat this time. Chat, if there's any big news that's happened in the nerd world... If there's any big news that's happened in the nerd world over this last 2 weeks since I last did a podcast and you want me to talk about it, put it in the chat right now and maybe I'll read it and come back to it. But as far as I know, I don't really care. I'm not going to Anime Milwaukee this year. I'm sorry. That's your news. Okay, Carnivore of the Week. This is where I highlight someone from the Convention Reviews community for being awesome. To get yourself featured on here, all you have to do is be active, like you guys are doing right now, in the chat. So comment anywhere you can. You can also email me at acrweekly@yahoo.com, you know, if you're, like, not in the chat. And tell me why you should be featured. Like, I don't know why. But I have featured somebody for telling me why they should be featured before. You got to come up with that. But this week, it's Art Fairy. And I don't know if they're actually watching right now. But Art Fairy is, like, one of my main viewers on streams, at least back in the day when I did the Kingdom Hearts streams. They've been watching my videos for years, and in my streams for years. They're actually a moderator on my stream. So if Art Fairy's in here, good job. Congratulations. Thank you for all the help you've done. And I've actually met you at a few different cons. So just keep up being awesome. You know, do your thing. And speaking of the Kingdom Hearts stream, I just, not even an hour ago, maybe a half an hour ago, I bought Resident Evil 7. It's sitting right over there. I'm thinking, guys, if there was ever a game to stream on here, it's Resident Evil. Because I'll be scared to death. So, do you guys want to see that? Let me know, and I'll do it. But if not, then I won't do it. We are 54 subs away from 10,000. So if you guys know anybody else who wants to subscribe, let them know. Do it now. You have some interesting stories, High Card. Just send them to... hold on, I'll find where you send it to. Send them to acrstories@yahoo.com. That's where I will decide what stories get featured. Alright, you guys want to watch the stream? Alright, I'll stream it. I'm going to be out of town for the next 2 days. Maybe stream a little bit tonight after this, but then I won't be able to for the next couple of days. But at least by this weekend, we'll get it going for sure. I'll stream the whole game with you guys. Alright, cons that are happening this weekend. These are all anime, comic, and gaming cons that I could find on the interwebs that are happening this weekend. We have 17 cons. I don't have a... I'm going to have to bring up... I'm not going to be able to see your chat for just a second, but I'm going to have to bring up a Google page. I'm literally the worst person in the world when it comes to the abbreviations for states. So I'm going to F this up. All right. Number 1 is Convoluted Con Cruise, happening from February 9th through the 13th, and departing from New Orleans, LA. I'm assuming that's Louisiana. Pretty sure that's where New Orleans is. I got some knowledge up here, guys. I know some things, all right? And this is just another example of a con cruise. A con on a cruise. I came up with this idea years ago, and now this is the second con to steal my idea. They stole it out from under me. Number 2, Anime Land Wasabi, from the 10th through the 12th. This is in Denver, Colorado. I'm getting better. Next is C3 in Hong Kong. If any of you guys are in Hong Kong this weekend, it's from the 10th through the 12th. And this is in, you guessed it, Hong Kong, which is in China. I got that one. China. 4 is Kanpai Con, happening from the 10th through the 12th. This is in Omaha. What's NE? Nebraska? Is that where Omaha is? Oh my god. The people who live in Omaha just all unsubscribed. We're so close to 10,000. It is Nebraska. I know your state. I promise. Number 5 is OwlCon, from the 10th through the 12th, happening in Houston, Texas. Number 6 is Rapier. I'm probably saying this wrong. From the 10th through the 12th, again in Jacksonville, Florida. Number 7 is Seishun Con, again from the 10th through the 12th, happening in Atlanta, Georgia. Never heard of that con, but I'm a big fan of all those Atlanta cons. Number 8 is Conjanai, just on the 11th, one-day con, happening in Ann Arbor. I don't know what MI means, so I'm just going to look it up. Don't hate me. Yeah, I know, like, I'm no good. It's Michigan. I live right by that state. I don't. Okay. Number 9 is EJICon on the 11th, which is in Cairo, Egypt. Any of you guys chilling in Egypt. Check out EgyptCon. Number 10 is LodgeCon on the 11th again, one-day con in Peotone. Dude, I'm butchering this right now. Illinois. If you live there, please don't unsubscribe. I need your subscription. LTU Anime Con on the 11th in Southfield, MI, which we just figured out is Michigan. Good to know. The more you know, guys. MCM Midlands Comic Con again on the 11th in Telford, UK. 13 is Milwaukee Comic Con. Not Anime Milwaukee just yet, guys. Just hold tight. It's coming. Which is obviously in... Well, no, it says it's in West Allis. Is that part of Milwaukee? I don't know. Wisconsin. Milwaukee's in Wisconsin. Number 14 is Pulp Adventure Con on the 11th in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Number 15 is Dallas Comic Show from the 11th through the 12th in Irving, Texas. Irving, yeah. Number 16 is East Bay Comic Con on the 12th in Concord, CA is California, I'm pretty sure. I don't know what MCM stands for. If any of you guys know, leave it in the chat. Ani Ravo Winter, 12th through the 13th in Vancouver, Canada. That's all our cons. 17 cons this weekend, guys. That's a freaking lot of cons, especially for February. Oh, God, I just closed out on my notes. That's a surprising amount of cons. Okay, that's all our cons this weekend. If I missed any, guys, if you're going to a con this weekend and you're like, he didn't name my con? What, do you hate me? I don't hate you. I just didn't know what was happening. I couldn't find it. So let me know in the chat or in the comments below if you're watching this later on. All right, next up is convention story time. We're going to go down a hole here into a convention story time. This is where you guys send me in crazy things that happen to you while you're at a convention, and I read it on the show for everyone to hear. Remember, if you want to get your story read on the show, just email it to me at acrstories@yahoo.com. That's what you got to do. I wish I could turn the lights down and start a little fire right here, get the crackling going. Maybe in the future I'm going to do that. I'm going to find a little fire background noise to play, a little crackling. Actually, I might have one. Oh no, I redid my computer since then. I don't have one. Okay, well we're gonna find some crackling background noise to play. We won't do it today, but in the future, we're gonna get a little fire going, and everybody can get their little s'mores. I'll tell you it's s'more time, and then we'll read our story. Okay, this one's a little long. Again, forgive me if I mess anything up, as I'm just reading off of here. It's not pre-recorded. Hello, my name is Bryce Oliver, and I am currently 14 years old. I just went to my first convention recently, and I would like to tell you the story of what happened the first day I got there. It was Phoenix Comic-Con 2016. I dressed up as Undyne? Oh god, from the video game Undertale, and every Undertale fan just unsubscribed. That's not part of the story. I just know that just happened because I totally butchered that. Now, I understood the game was a little overrated by the time I had made my cosplay, but I had spent a lot of time on it, so I was happy. This was also my first con I was going to by myself, accompanied by some friends I was meeting up with later. I got dropped off extra early and walked to registration. Allow me to explain the layout of the convention center a little. At the north entrance, past registration, there's a door. There are doors that lead to the main hallway and the escalators and such. After I finished my registration, I was making my way to said doors to head to the vendor's room to wait for my friends when I hear people behind me. It was a group of teenagers, all talking quite loudly. I tried to ignore it. I thought they were just a little excited or something. A group of Soul Eater cosplays went by, and a few looked at them in admiration. Their cosplays were amazing, but everything stopped once I heard one of the people behind me turn to the cosplayers and yell, "Freaks!" The cosplayers turned around, looked at them a bit funny, and just went on their way. I was still pondering how insanely rude that comment was until they turned their attention on me. "Look to your left," one of them says, in obvious earshot. I realized I'm the only person on their left as I was headed toward the escalators. "What is it?" asks another. "It?" At this point, I was a little offended, but I didn't say anything. I kept walking, just hoping to make it to my destination fast before conflict. I don't know, but it looks gross. I recognized the voices as those who yelled at the Soul Eater cosplayers. I knew then they were talking about my makeup. I simply kept my head down, making it to the escalators and heading to the bottom floor. I know, I probably should have told somebody about what happened, but I didn't. They were much older than me, and I worried about conflict. This was my first con, and I really didn't want to spend it arguing with idiots. The rest of the con was amazing, though, and the incident really didn't ruin my con experience, but it did definitely make a nice little story. Moral is, if something like this does happen to anyone, especially yourself, tell somebody. Harassment really isn't okay. Thanks for listening. Now, that sucks. That really sucks. I actually had an experience with this when I was at DaishoCon. I was walking down this long hallway, and there was some people in front of me. It was at night, and I think they were drunk. I'm not sure. They clearly were not there for the con. These people were yelling. I'm just going to be real. They were yelling Japanese and Asian racial slurs at all the cosplayers, like making a like fake Japanese accent, like your clearly racist Japanese accent, and like yelling at the cosplayers, and it really made me mad. I almost said something to them, but I have no balls, so I didn't. But I should have. And this is what I do want to say one thing about this story. That sucks. I'm glad the kid had a great rest of their con. But at the end, they say, moral is, if something like this does happen to anyone, especially yourself, tell somebody. I agree that harassment really isn't okay. All right? I do. But I know you want someone to help, but honestly, what's up, Alex T? I notice you. What are they going to do? Because the thing is, those people clearly were not there for the con. If it was some people that were there for the con who are doing rude things, you can easily get them kicked out. But just normal people who aren't there for the con, I mean, I hate to break it to you, but if you tell staff, there's not really a lot they can do, I wouldn't imagine. They're just there on their own. They just happen to be rude people. Maybe they'll go talk to them, but I don't know what would happen. I'm not saying don't tell somebody. I'm just saying don't expect them to fix it all. You know, sometimes you just have to build a thick skin, honestly. And I hate to say that, but things do happen, and people are rude. And sometimes you just have to let it bounce off. And they weren't physical or anything like that. So that's my advice to you guys. If this ever happens to you or anyone you know, and you don't want to get in some sort of a conflict, just walk away. You know what I mean? Like, don't let that stuff get to you. Those people don't know what they're talking about, and you shouldn't let it bring you down. Just remember that you've got hundreds of people around you who agree with you and agree with what you're doing. You are in the majority at a con. Those people are not. So that's my little words of advice on that. Okay. On to this week's topic. This week's topic is brought to us by a question that I was asked. Big72 Media asked, just wondering, what websites do you use to find cons? So I'm going to take this a step further, and I'm going to tell you 4 tips to finding new conventions to go to. Because I hear people all the time, Cody, how do you find all these conventions to go to? I have no idea. I didn't even know half of these existed. So I'm going to tell you everything I use to find every con that I go to. Number 1, I like to use animecons.com. or fancons.com, because then they have other types of cons, not just anime cons. Really good list. There's some other websites I use too. I don't even feel like mentioning them because these are the big websites, I'm telling you. Animecons.com and fancons.com. You're going to find most every con you're going to want to go to on that site. They link out to their websites. It's very easy. They've got a lot of... I only read the cons that are happening this weekend, but if you go on there, they have like over a year in advance. If the con's been announced, it's probably on there. So I would definitely check that out. Upcoming Cons is a good site too. Monkeyman1010 says upcoming cons. I have used that website a little bit. Yeah, so check that one out too if you're into that. 2 is to network. What I mean by this is to talk to friends or other people at cons. So there's a lot that goes into this. Either, obviously, this one's super obvious, but if you have friends that go to cons, just ask them what cons they like and what cons they go to. If you don't, you can always get online and find other people who you know who cosplay and just write them and be like, hey, I know you live in this area, like what cons do you like? I know that's having to go out of your way a little bit, but hey, you're trying to find new cons to go to. And the other thing I mean by this is when you're at cons, talk to people you meet, find out about what cons they go to, but also don't forget that every con, almost all of them, they have like a little, I don't know what the area is called, but there's always tables set up either in the dealer's room or in the artist alley or somewhere in there that has other cons promoting themselves. And they have cards. Sometimes they'll let you register, like pre-register for the con while you're at that con. So go to those booths. Like, don't just ignore those. Go and talk to those people. A lot of times, not always, but there's a lot of times that it's literally the con chair sitting there, like advertising their convention. So you can go and talk to the con chair, talk to somebody like high up within that convention, and hopefully they can convince you to go, and maybe you can pre-register right there. That's a great way to learn about more cons in your area or just in general. Number 3 is to look up, and I feel like a lot more people do this nowadays, but to look up convention YouTubers and like myself and watch their cosplay music videos, and watch their vlogs, watch their reviews, because like personally, like me, I'm trying to go to all kinds of different cons. I'm a little bit stuck. Happy birthday, Sammy. What up? Sorry, someone from the chat. I'm a little stuck in the Midwest, but I'm definitely getting out of that, and I'm getting out of it this year for sure. But yeah, look up just like if you find any channel you like. Obviously, if you're listening to this, you like my channel, so you can go through mine and look at all the cons I've been to. But then go to my related stuff. Just some tips, just some people to look at, okay? Dejavudea. She goes to a lot of cons. Go to her channel. Check what cons she's been to. Also, Royal Lily. Just did a couple story times with her earlier today. Those are going to be out later this week. Check her channel out. See what cons she's recommending. Mangosirene, RealTDragon, Beatdownboogie, MLZ Studio. You know, there's all kinds of channels. Actually, guys, I want to help you guys out more. I want you guys to watch my channel, but I also just want to spread the community. So if you don't know, in the links to all of my normal videos, I have in the bottom, and actually I have it on my channel too if you go to my About Me, I have a list of other channels you will like if you like my channel. Go to any of those channels and see what cons they've been to, because typically videographers try to go to good cons. Just another tip that I use to find cons. That's my main way of finding cons, to be honest. And finally, the last way, and this is how I started, is to just Google, literally go to Google. So I live in Indiana. So what I did is I went to Google and I typed like this. I'm doing this thing. And I typed Indiana space anime convention. Enter. Like pretty much every anime convention in Indiana came up on that front page of Google search. So very easy to do. No problem, and you're gonna find cons in your area. Or if you don't want it to be so broad, if you like live in a city and you just want it in that city, look up your city. So Indianapolis anime convention. Enter. Boom. That's it. It's that easy. Those are my 4 tips. if you guys have any other tips, because I really wanted to round it out at 5. I couldn't think of a 5th one. If you guys in the chat have any more tips, let me know, and I'll mention it on here before we sign off. But those are how I find cons. And trust me, you can definitely use those. You'll find a lot of cons that way. Okay, we're moving on to the Q&A. I'm going to first answer the questions that are here on my tablet, and then if you guys have any questions, I'm going to shoot it over to the chat. If you guys have any questions in the chat, we'll answer those, but I'm not going to wait all day because this is a podcast. If you don't have questions, then I'm going to just get out of here and it's going to be done. But if you guys have any questions, go ahead and start writing those in the chat and I'll get to those. Number 1, we just have 3 on here. This is from Airship 007 Johnson. They ask, I just got my driver's license and was wondering if you could recommend any cons near me. I live in Minnesota and would be willing to travel to a state or two away. No idea. I have literally no idea. I've never been to any cons in Minnesota. If you guys in the chat know any good Minnesota cons or ones within that area, let me know and I'll read them out for Airship here. But I really don't know. Like I said, use my tips that I just gave you in the main topic and you'll have everything you need. Light in the Wind asked, they said, nice podcast. I really enjoyed it. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And they asked, what is good quality equipment for streaming? So what I use to stream, the webcam I'm using right now, Logitech, I don't remember, it's like 920 or something. I don't remember. It's like Logitech 9 something. It's not that expensive. Look up good Logitech webcam, and I think it's like the first one that'll come up on Amazon. So check that out. The mic I'm using is the Blue Yeti. Seriously, the best mic for the money. It's USB, so it's very easy to do. You just plug it into your computer and go. If you're wanting to stream games, get this right here. This is on Elgato Game Capture HD. They also have the Elgato Game Capture HD 60. I don't have that one, but it'll do 60 frames per second. Very simple to use, very easy setup. You might have to Google it to figure out how to do it, because there's like some delay stuff you have to mess with, but this will get your games going for sure. I used a different capture card when I first started. It worked for a while until it crapped out on me. Just go with the Elgato. Spend a little extra money to make sure you're not going to have to buy something else in the future. I always say spend a little extra money and get the good stuff first. Never cheap out. I always say to never cheap out. And then as you were asking for equipment, but also you're going to need a laptop or a computer of some sort that can run it all. And you're going to need OBS. Stream through OBS. Look up how to make that stuff work. OBS used to be pretty confusing. It's very straightforward nowadays. So you'll be all right. Final question from here. Justin Panetta, which I don't know if he's in here in the chat right now. He asked, was Kane your waifu in the original Nier? Justin, she was not. I was not the biggest fan of Kane. She was all right. I mean, I'll be honest. She was attractive. I'm not going to lie to you. But what's her name? Dovia, I think that's her name. The girl who sung the song. Holy F. Her voice serenaded me into her being waifu status. I don't even care what she looks like. She could look like me. And I would be like, God dang. Amazing. If you haven't heard, I need to find what it's called really quick. I'm going to find what it's called. You guys are going to go listen to it as soon as this is over. Nier OST Song of the Ancients. Dovia, I think is what it's. Song of the Ancients, though, from the original Nier. Oh my god, dude. Go listen to that song. Okay, we're going to throw it over to the chat now. They want to know my favorite convention. As far as favorite anime convention, it is Youmacon. My favorite convention overall, Dragon Con. Unbeatable. It's a 10 out of 10 con. I didn't review it, but I'm telling you right now, it's a 10 out of 10. I don't know if you've been asked this before. Oh, that was by Anima Cartoona, the Fan Dragon, asked favorite convention. Big Wolf Pup says, I don't know if you've been asked this before, but around how many cons do you go to a year? What is your favorite cons? Okay, I just said what my favorite ones are. My home convention is Anime Midwest, which means I go there every year, as well as my secondary home convention. I would call it MatsuRiCon, which means I want to go there every year. If I can't make it happen, I'll be okay, but I want to try to. How many cons do I go to per year? It's been between 10 and 15 these last few years. Last year, it was less. I think I only went to like 8 tops last year. Maybe less, because I was trying to save money for the Philippines. So that was my smallest year. This will be my biggest year, what we're going into right now. Monkey Man Tantan says, I'm from, I guess, MN. Is that Minnesota? I guess. Coming up in April is Anime Detour and Anime Minneapolis in May. So there you go. Whoever you were that asked that question, I don't remember your name. Another person says Anime Minneapolis. I've looked at their website. It's very helpful. I've looked at reviews, and all the reviews have been good. So, Anime Minneapolis, check that out, and Anime Detour. I've heard good things about both those cons. Anessa said he's not, or he'd give you crap about the state abbreviations. Oh, she's talking about Justin. Yeah, he would. He would have. And the last question from Selza, unless you guys have any more questions, or I'm going to get out of here. Put them in there now, if you can think of them. She says, why don't you record masquerades anymore? And I actually do have a real reason for this, believe it or not. I'm surprised you noticed that I don't record masquerades anymore. I stopped recording masquerades because I got told not to. Cons, turns out, they want to record masquerades themselves. And I'm not saying this is every con, but a lot of them do. Even as press, I was being told by some cons, not every con, that I could not record masquerades because they want to have, or if I did record masquerades, it could only be in pieces. So you'll see I'll have masquerade footage in some videos, but it won't be the full masquerade. I used to put up a full 40-minute video of the whole masquerade. They don't want you to do that because they record it themselves and they want to put it on their own channel and they want to get the views off of it. My channel is significantly bigger than any of these cons' standalone channels. So if I post a masquerade and I post my videos quick, I'm not going to lie to you, it's going to be up way before theirs. So they aren't going to get any views. I mean, I assume that's the reason, but I've been told not to. I have to assume that's the reason. I don't know. That makes the most sense to me. And you'll also notice if you go to a lot of con websites and you're reading about the masquerade, a lot of them say you're not allowed to record it in full. It also has to do with that I changed my camera. My new camera, I don't have a really good zoom lens, so I can't get as close to them. So, yeah, that's why. If you're wondering why. Some people still do it, but I don't want to get on these cons' bad sides. You know what I mean? Okay, we got some more questions. HighCard07 says, out of all the cosplays you've seen... Oh, thank you for subscribing, the Nerd Brigade 101. HighCard07 says, out of all the cosplays you've seen, is there one that was your favorite? Nope. Sorry. I've seen so many that I cannot pick one. Like, the amount of cosplay I've seen at this point is off the freaking chart. Like, I hate to say that, but I can't just pick one. It's like asking somebody to pick their favorite child. Obviously, there's some things that come to mind. Maybe one of the Jack and Dexter cosplays I've seen. But that's because I love Jack and Dexter. It's not the craftsmanship or anything like that. There's, of course, an effing train. I called the railroad, alright? I called them and said, shut down the trains until I can finish, at least until 7 o'clock, when I can finish this podcast. And they said, yes, sir, immediately. And now there's a train. I'm going to have to call them up. There's going to be a whole thing. Oh, my God. Jesus Christ, with these railroad people. They don't listen to me. It's like they don't matter to them. Do they not know I'm about to hit 10,000 subscribers? Do they not know? The Iron Chain Master says, if you made your own anime con, what would you call it? I don't know. I've never thought of this before. I have no idea. Probably something Japanese or something really straightforward. Like I would just call it, it's an anime convention. Something like that. Because straightforward works so well. Convention reviews works because everyone knows what the F it is the second they click on the channel. He's doing convention videos. There you go. That's why that name works. I like the straightforward names. CodyCon is a name of a con that I wanted to do for my birthday. And I might still do this someday. I might have CodyCon, and it'll be on my birthday. And I do want to say something I would do because, and this is probably because I'm a YouTuber, and so I just think this way. But if I ran a con, the very first people I would invite before I ever invited a like voice actor or an industry guest is I would invite and I would pay for them to go. They can come for free. Every effing convention YouTuber that I could think of. All of them would be invited. And if I needed to, like if I had it in the budget, I'd fly them out. I'd make sure they were there and had first class treatment. And that's not just because I'm a YouTuber and I want those things. That would be awesome. But it's because these cons need to realize that the people who are spreading their convention are the YouTube channels. And I'm not saying just mine. Not one convention can make not one channel can make a convention great. But think about if every single convention channel that you can think of put out vlogs and music videos from the same con at the same time. That con, I guarantee you, it's going to blow the F up the next year. And I don't know why no cons do this. It'd be so easy. I'm not even asking to be paid. I'm just saying let them go, like invite them for free. And imagine all the freaking promotion you're getting. It's insane. You don't even need a marketing budget anymore. Like, I mean, I'm not a marketing department for a con, but that's how I would do it. And I bet you my con would blow the F up. Okay. Anime Cartoona, the fan dragon says, do you cosplay? No, I do not. I've cosplayed a little. I've dabbled in the past. I don't anymore because I've spent too much money on the videos and the now travel to be able to pay for cosplay. Monkey Man Tanshead said, what other convention YouTubers do you plan on / want to do collabs with? There's no... Excuse me. I bounced a little bit. That's what tacos do to you. There are no collaborations in the works right now, other than the one with... I have 2 with Royal Lily that just went up. They haven't gone up yet. Sorry. I just recorded them literally a couple hours ago with her. Story times. Those will be up. One later this week and maybe one next week. Other than that, I have nothing in the works. But who would I want to collab with? I'd love to collab with RealTDragon. I did a little something with him on my weekday 1UP channel back in the day. It kind of feels like a missed opportunity. I wish I could have done something for my main channel. I would love to do something with him. Beatdownboogie, obviously, I don't know what I would do. And then there's like the Dejavudeas. Like, I would love to Dejavudea, if you're watching this, or if any of you guys are subbed to her and want to let her know that Convention Reviews would love to collab. I don't know what we would do, but just because she's like one of the first ones that I ever watched, and to me it would be like a cool like completing the circle kind of thing. Like I started on her channel and now we've collabed together sort of thing. So yeah, I would love to collab with her. But I mean, really anybody. If you want to collab, let me know, because I need it. Trains are common here. I feel your pain. LOL trains. Okay, so that's all the questions. Nobody else is asking anything, and that is 41 minutes. They said, I bet Dejavudea would collab if you asked. Yeah, I mean, I've not asked, so she probably would, but... I've always just been busy. Like, I didn't say I'm, like, looking for the collab at this exact second, but maybe someday. Sorry for another question, but... Okay, we're getting more questions coming in. Hold on. Sorry for another question, but what got you started on doing reviews of conventions? I've talked about this in the past. I'll talk about it again quickly. I used to be, or I still am, kind of. I'm getting back into it this year, but I used to be much bigger into parkour and free running. It was like my life. And I had a channel called Parkour Reviews where I would record, or I would review different locations to train parkour. And then I started going to conventions, and I already had the camera and everything, and I was like, okay, I don't see anybody reviewing these things. I'm just going to take what I'm doing here for parkour, and I'm going to do it for conventions. And then it blew the F up. So that's like the short version. What's up, Blood Cruznick? You're here right at the end. Monkey Man Tantan said that I should collab with Drooby. Hear pretty good things about him. I've heard great things about Drooby as well. I hear he's an up-and-coming star. He's going to pass me up here really soon, I'm sure. Like, he's on his way. He's the next big thing, honestly. YouTube, look out. If you guys want to message Drooby and tell him that I want to collab, that'd be awesome. I could use your guys' cred, like, so that he knows that I'm legit, you know what I mean? Because he probably thinks I'm a punk, you know? So if you want to tell Drooby like, hey, this convention review guy, he would love to collab, like, I mean, that would help me out a lot, guys. What's up, Justin? You're here right at the end. We're wrapping things up. All right, we're going to read the wrap-up. If I get any more questions during the wrap-up, I'll answer them really quickly, but this is it. Okay. Don't forget, guys, in the description, not on this, but if you're watching it on YouTube, I do have links to all the equipment that I use to run my channel. All of it, where you can buy it. Buy it from those links. Because if you do, I get a little kickback. And that would be nice. It would be really helpful, guys. But that is everything I use. Don't forget, you can follow my personal Instagram at Cody's World Travels. You can also follow the Convention Reviews Instagram at the ACR Crew. You can join my Facebook community if you are on YouTube. There's a link in the description. Not on the stream, but if you're watching it later. If you're not, go to Facebook and look up Carnivores/Convention Reviews Community. I post there all the time along with the rest of the crew and hundreds of other fans of the channel. And that is it, guys. I will see you next week. Maybe later today if I do stream Resident Evil 7 tonight, which I would like to. I might be right back on here in just a minute. We'll see. Okay, before I go, one more time, where do I send my story? You send it to... I don't know. I gotta go find it. I think it's ACR Stories. At yahoo.com? Oh my god, if I don't even know this, how can I tell people where to send their stories? Yeah, it's acrstories at yahoo.com. Send away. And, like always, bye-nie!